Hello my friends, in this video I will talk about my experience with Kundalini. So I've been asked by a friend to share my experience with this, and I will share, and I think it is gonna be the first time ever that I share it online. So yes, myself, I did have an experience of full blown up Kundalini going through the spine and up into the head. And it was actually many years ago. It was when I started with my practice, as I was maybe 19 years old or 20 or something. I remember these were the simple hermit days, and you can still see those videos here on YouTube channel. But that could be a long talk. But basically, I wanted and I tried consciously to awaken my Kundalini. I went fully in yogic practices like intense, difficult pranayamas and Kundalini practices. I was also doing austerities, harsh living, fasting to awaken my Kundalini. Another thing which I really think had impacted my spiritual evolution back then was the intense spiritual pain I felt, my intense longing for God, my devotion for God, to the point that I didn't want to live, and I felt pain to simply exist and be. So I remember how I was trying to lift the serpent. I was already reading about yoga, about Kundalini, and I was trying to do everything to lift the serpent, to awaken the Kundalini. I would do Mula Bandha, I would do the Bandha, send the energy upwards, yogic practices. I remember I would sit in full lotus position and I would tell myself I will not get out of this lotus pose until I awaken my Kundalini. And, I tried very intensely. Until when it happened, I remember it was in the night, and I slept. And in my dream, and one thing to mention also, the day before was very difficult, very full of devotion and longing for God, so intense that it was a very painful and difficult day, because that longing for God in my case was so strong, so extreme, that tears would be going down my face and I would be even like shaking, like having some epilepsy seizures or something. My longing for divinity was very intense, let's put it that way, and it was difficult and painful, heartbreaking. In the night, I had a dream. That in the same very house where I was, close to the forest, that in that house there appeared a snake, and I guess I was searching for that snake as Kundalini. Until snake appeared right before my face, a huge snake, as if trying to attack me right in front of me, and this is where I got shocked and I woke up from my dream. I imagine my heart beating because it was a shock. It frightened me and I woke up. However, when I woke up, I realized that I cannot move my body. I'm aware of my body and something strange is happening with my body. However, I cannot move my body. I cannot move, it's kind of out of the body, but in the body experience, but I couldn't make my body move. I was aware of it. And I became aware instantly that something is very intense is happening in my body, something I hadn't experienced before. In the lower part of my body, kind of Muladhara chakra, the seat of Kundalini, I felt an intense activity, let's say electrical, energetic activity, that was also very, very intense in different ways. I could see kind of colors. Even though with my eyes closed, I could perceive my whole body with lights, and at the same time I could feel energies, and I never before in my life I had an experience like this. And at first I was frightened, because I understand something is happening, something intense, and I cannot even move my body. And I could hear the sound, whoa, 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 and it was going up my spine as a DNA, as this kind of thing. It was going up, starting from my Muladhara, the first chakra. It started to go up, and it was so intense that it freaked me out. It felt like it is too intense, too powerful for my body. It felt like it would rip my body apart, and I became frightened. But then I realized that yes, this is what I have been waiting for, this is what I have been praying for, this is Kundalini. Of course, this is Kundalini. I recognize it as such, and I said, I trust you, and I surrendered to it. And the moment I surrendered to it, it wasn't painful anymore, it wasn't kind of frightening anymore. I simply surrendered and relaxed myself, at the same time being aware that this can actually very easily kill me. This energy was so powerful, and as it was going up my spine, as it was going towards the head, I was thinking that when it goes into my head will not support it, and it will explode, and I will die. I will not, my physical structure, my biological structure will not be able to survive an experience of this magnitude. However, I surrendered to this process, I surrendered to God, and in that surrender, this energy smashed into my head, and there was an explosion of energy, of light, maybe white light. And after that experience, after that explosion, I understood that I am still alive, but I understood that I have something very intense has happened, and I feel different, and I feel that my head is different. I feel actually even like pain, headache in my pressure in my brain, as I became aware again of my body, and I started to move my body. I got control of my body again. In the middle of the night, understanding that this, what I have had, is what what is known as Kundalini awakening, basically Kundalini energy going from the base of the spine, Kunda, close to Muladhara chakra, goes up the spine into the head, into the brain. This was my experience. It was intense, but I have survived it. However, to share with you very honestly my experience, which I'm doing, I expected that after this it will open up me energetically, and I will be able to be clairvoyant and see things through and understand everything, and have all of my chakras much more awakened and more, more perceptive. But in my case, it hadn't done that. On quite the opposite, my chakras had become I became less perceptive of my chakras. Before this experience, I could feel my chakras more, and after this experience, I could feel my chakras less. which was a surprise for me. However, as time continued, however, as the time continued, even after this Kundalini experience, I continued with the same practices involving chakras, involving Shushumna, the spine, and continue working with this Kundalini energy. So my experience, my honest experience, is that yes, I had this experience. However, to tell you how much it had changed my life to have that experience, I couldn't say. I honestly couldn't say. I think that over the years, the practices I have done, working with my chakras, working with my different yogic practices, that these practices have little by little, day by day, were making me more conscious, more aware, and more spiritual. I have no doubt about that. However, the results or the effects after the Kundalini awakening or Kundalini going up my spine, this particular experience that I have had many years ago, 2007 maybe, I couldn't say how much it has affected me. What I'm saying to you is, do the work, do the basics, continue your practice. Don't expect Kundalini to appear the next day and change your life. Because even if it does appear, even if you have a Kundalini experience, such as in my case, I cannot say how much it has changed for me. But I can definitely say that continuous daily yogic practice has definitely made me grow. So this is my experience with Kundalini, my honest experience, and I wanted to share this with you. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.